The following program was produced by an independent community producer. The opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of the ECAT staff or board of directors.
Thank you for joining us and welcome once again to Easton 300. This is a monthly TV show that talks about our plans as we prepare for 2025, and it's going to be the 300th anniversary for the town of Easton, Massachusetts. A great place to live, to work, and certainly to enjoy. I'm Dave Clifton here along with Brian Hoffman. We are co-hosting this show. On a monthly basis, we'll be doing the show all the way through 2024. And of course, especially the celebration year, January through December in 2024. 300 years is a lot of time, Brian.
It is.
We're talking 1725 to 2025. And of course, our shows are going to talk about what the plans are as we prepare. What have you got to say about this great town of Easton?
Well, we've said it before, and I'll keep on saying it. This is a town that I think, whether you are new to the town or have been here for generations, it's a town that is full of life, full of history, and full of some amazing people. And I think we're seeing that as we go forward in the planning for the 300th. A lot of those amazing people are coming out of the woodwork, coming out of their homes, getting involved as members of the committee, people in support of it, people like Ed and Piper who are here today. 300 is a lot of years. It's in my family, it's great because the kids said, okay, now we've got something we can talk about that's older than Dad. So, and I'm glad to have that.
It's amazing, Ed. I can feel the excitement in the community as people get more and more involved, either as a volunteer. There are many businesses in town that we thank for making healthy donations towards making the celebration work.
Indeed.
And I've always said in the past year that as we've been working hard at planning, that the world's gotten a little crazy. It's time for us to celebrate. So folks, join us as we plan and prepare. And right now we're going to introduce our guests that join us today. We have Ed Basse, a longtime Easton resident. Congratulations, Ed, on getting the bid to do the banners. And you're going to see today, folks, what a terrific job he did. The person that created the banner is the logo. She won the logo contest on behalf of the committee. And of course, how terrific that is. It's the clock that you see on Main Street in downtown Easton, Northeastern, I should say. And of course, they call her Piper Jornales, and we appreciate very much what you have done. Congratulations on the clock.
Thank you.
And Ed, why don't you show the banner?
Oh, sure.
That's going to be the pole banner. We're going to have 80 to 90 pole banners scattered throughout Main Street, Center Street, the parade route, 5 corners, and maybe around Memorial Hall. It's a 2-sided banner, 48 by 24. And of course, it shows the clock. It shows some of the Easton colors.
Yep.
Yes.
And I'll tell you,
Home of the Tigers.
we give credit to the town of Easton on the top, and on the bottom, it shows who the sponsor is.
Yep.
And of course, Albert Basse, of course, one of the sponsors. And you see that banner. This is the very first banner that was made up, and
The very first.
obviously he's going to put his company on that,
Sure.
and rightfully so.
Yeah.
Maybe you could tell us, Piper, if you would, your creativity. Give us a little bit background, how you happen to be involved in this stuff. You seem to be very clever. and very artistic when it comes to doing stuff like this. Tell us about yourself.
Thank you. Well, I've lived in Easton for, I want to say 12 or 13 years. I'm not sure how long. I think my son was about 2. I judge everything by his age. You know how that goes
right.
as parents.
I got you down for 12 years and 2 months.
Okay.
There you go.
Let's go with that. So throughout my time here, especially over the last few years, I've gotten really involved in Tempo, which is the Easton Music Parents Organization. And I've done graphic design work for them, and I've done it for my husband's business. And so I'm kind of, my friends joke that I have my hands in like everything. I just do a little bit of everything. And when I heard about the logo design, I was really interested in it, because I just love this town. I love living in this town. And I thought with the parameters that were given that I could design something that I thought that the committee would like. I think the parameters were that it have the Easton clock, that it have either tricentennial or 300 in it, and I believe the years as well.
And the colors?
Yeah, and the colors as well. And basically what I did to make the design was that I took a picture of the clock. I found one head on, and I basically just created a vector image of it. I traced it and made everything so that it could be easily scalable, because one thing I do know doing graphics is that if it was going to be used on pole banners or on giant banners, you could, you know, make a drawing that looked really great, but when you blow it up, it's going to get pixelated. And
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
As a printer, that is a.
Yeah, that's right.
You're welcome.
If you're watching this on TV, folks, it's not 3 o'clock. We purposely put 3 up there because of the celebration. So if you're watching this at 4 o'clock, your clock at home is not incorrect.
This clock
But-
is right twice, right? Twice
Twice
a
a
day.
day.
Twice a day.
Yes.
That's right.
Ed, why don't you once again tell us about what you know about Ed Basse, a longtime Easton resident.
I'm glad to see Ed. I haven't seen him in probably several years, but a number of years back, I was the director of community relations for the Children's Museum for about 8 years. And I got to know Ed because Ed was our go-to guy for any kind of printed stuff, especially for sponsor signs for the golf tournaments when we had it, for signs for various events at the museum and on the grounds. We had a very popular series of events for a craft beer festival. There was a number of things, and Ed was always right there and always with, you know, listening in terms of if we had something special we needed to consider, and just coming up with the great things. So when you told me that Ed was going to be doing the banners, I said, you know, you got the right guy. So,
It's terrific.
Thank you, Brian.
You're
And
welcome.
he shows a lot of interest, not just in doing the banner, but he's interested in the community as well. And we appreciate that, Ed.
Yeah, thank you,
A
Dave.
couple of thank yous I'd like to throw out there. I certainly want to thank the Easton Select Board for a long time ago, call it late 2022. They appointed 10 members to be on the committee to start planning and preparing. And of course, the work started in 2023. I think it was January. We had our first meeting. And the committee has expanded. We now have 25 different active members outside of the 10 appointed by the select board. And there's a lot of work to do. It's not just fundraising. It involves planning the signature events, recruiting volunteers, trying to work hard to commit all the facilities to make such a celebration work. So we got a lot of events that are taking place. Would also like to thank ECAT, Easton Community Access Television, for all of their coverage, not just the meeting, but the TV show, which we do once a month. And they're going to be covering all the events throughout the year. We're going to, at some point in time, have a press conference to kick off and let folks in town know that we got a big-time celebration coming during the this particular year as we plan, and of course, for 2025.
Yeah.
Ed, you are aware of the celebration the town
Mhm.
had in 2075
Yep.
and 2050.
Yeah. The 250th, 275th, and I think those are great celebrations. This one's going to be, I think even bigger, even better. And it's not fair to be comparative like that, but I think that we've learned from all of those things. And there's so much excitement. I mean, there really is a tremendous amount of excitement around town about the 300th. I'm glad that Ed brought the banner, because I think it's important to note, and we saw his company's name on it, and there'll be plenty of companies and organizations that will sponsor banners as well. But individuals or individual families can. So if the Smith family wants to support the initiatives that are going on for the 300th, they can sponsor a banner, and for $300, the Smith family will be up there on one of the poles around Easton, and
just to add to what you said, Ed,
yeah.
that the advertising for 14 months, they go up in October of 2024, they come down in December of 2025, our anniversary year, right after the final event, which would be the gala that'll take place at Stonehill College. So
and Ed's going to make banners that are going to last that entire period.
That's
of time.
right, 14 months.
These are they're very sturdy. That's a really nice gauge of vinyl that's used there. So.
And we want you to know is Ed is going to hold that up once again so you can see it, that we're going to give these banners, after they've been up for the celebration year, back to the people who bought them, and they can hang them in their garage. And
or right over the mantle.
Right over right anywhere you want to put. And if you need extras, we got what we can do. We can make more.
I think it'd be fun to do like a family picture under your family banner.
Under your banner.
Yeah, do it outside under the pole, and then do it when you've got it mounted in your, family
wherever.
room. Wherever. Yeah.
And thank you very much, Ed.
That's
the
what we
coat
do
closet.
in the printing business. Family printing company. We play with all sorts of prints and touch and feel and make sure that everything's done right. So
What the three of you would have been thinking about in terms of this community, I've always been impressed at the historic buildings in the town. And you walk around this community and you see those buildings, you say to yourself, wow, this is a community that has lots of history.
Yeah.
And I know you weren't here back in those days when the buildings went up, but I want you to know, Ed, that you certainly have familiarized yourself with the history of the town. Anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, we've been here a long time, my family and I. We've raised all of the kids here, and they're all gone, to various corners of the world, or at least the country now. But you almost can't help but learn about the buildings when you're living here, because they are involved in the real ongoing day-to-day stuff that happens in a community. They're not showpieces. They're not something where nobody can go in and touch. I was fortunate to serve on the Board of Trustees for the Oaks Ames Memorial Hall, and being there and learning about its history and being able to, you can see it, you can touch it, you can hold events there. We hosted family gatherings, anniversaries, bar mitzvahs, weddings. They put on shows. So it's a living, breathing building rather than just something that's sitting on a hill that nobody can appreciate. And I think the same thing's true of the library, which is also a Richardson building. The Queeset House is a great example of something that has been revitalized, strengthened, and is part of the community. And so I think of them not as just buildings, but as building blocks. They're part of the foundation of this community. And so we've got a lot to celebrate. It's not just 300 years. It's 300 years of a lot of stuff.
Amazing.
A lot of good stuff.
And you spoke about Memorial Hall, Ed. I should say Brian.
Yeah.
And that's where the art festival is going to take place. on April 26, 2025. It's going to spread from Memorial Hall to the Free Library, and it's going to move over to Queeset House. So there's going to be lots of activities that are going to be planned and prepared, hopefully well organized. And we're going to go over some of those events after we take our next break. But again, we can't thank ECAT enough for stepping up to cover. It's a lot different than it was years ago. We didn't have the luxury of having a community TV station that helps you not only promote the events, but it covers the events so that you can replay in your own mind exactly what has happened. And if you live in the town of Easton, you got to be a tiger.
That's right. That's right.
And I'll tell you, it's interesting as I make my rounds around the community and meet different people. They're all excited. Families can come together. So we say to each and every one of you out there, if you want to get involved in the planning of the celebration, there's still time. There's still time for your organization to maybe participate and run an event. All the events don't have to be sponsored by the committee appointed by the select board. There could be organizations and groups, whether it be churches or temples or whatever, might want to get involved, including the museums. So think about it. If you'd like to volunteer, we hope that you're willing to share your time, your talent, your ideas, your resources, and even your funds to make dreams real come. The time has arrived for us to get excited because just around the corner is 2025. I don't mean to move the calendar too quickly because we still got a lot of planning to do as we prepare. We're going to take a short break. We're going to come back and talk about some of the signature programs that are planned, so hurry back.
There's a storm.
Join me, Priscilla Almquist-Olsen, to explore the town of Easton and its interesting, engaging, ordinary, and extraordinary people, and meet a smorgasbord of guests, including artists, authors, musicians, business owners, community organizations, clergy, local leaders, etc., etc., etc. Community Forum at 3 p.m. on Thursdays and 1:30 p.m. on Saturdays. See you then.
Hi there, I'm Gail Devins, and join me as we discover all the businesses that made Easton great. This is a wonderful, wonderful place. I cannot wait. I want to do it. I want to go there. I am definitely coming back, and I know you will too, because I'm telling you something. It is absolutely amazing in here. What a wonderful way to discover Easton. It's right here in Easton. Showing at noon on Mondays, 2 p.m. on Tuesdays, and 11 a.m. on Fridays, only on ECAT.
In 2023, Easton is a tight-knit community of 25,000 people. But with the hustle and bustle of modern life, it's easy to forget our past. A time when Easton's population was 6,000.
Everybody knew who everybody was.
And there was respect.
There was respect for everyone.
When kids enjoyed great freedom and independence.
Everybody was poor at today's standards, but we all were in the same boat and we enjoyed life.
So join me, Priscilla Almquist-Olsen, as I explore what makes Easton so very special with some of its lifetime residents.
I think Easton has so much to offer, and if you're living in a community, you have to know it.
Watch Growing Up in Easton Tuesdays at 7 p.m. and Friday at 9 p.m. See you then.
Hello, welcome to Easton News. I'm Abby Kitchenham.
And I'm Jack Ryan, and together we bring you everything you need to know about Easton, including politics.
The annual town election is scheduled for Saturday, April 22nd, 2023.
Community events.
Be inspired. Counseling presents a parent and child coping workshop centered around a new year and new beginnings.
And sports.
Pressure builds diamonds, so we live by that every day of practice, going into every game.
With APCSM guest segment Pet of the Week.
Hi, I'm Katie with the Animal Protection Center, and today we have a little Iris.
With help from special correspondent Wyatt Fain. Join us
for Easton News.
Playing 6 o'clock Friday, Saturday, and Sundays.
Welcome back. We're talking with Ed Basse and Piper Jornales. It's Dave Clifton and I, Brian Hoffman, and we're chatting a bit about what's going to happen during 2025, the kinds of events that are planned. But as we see today, and as we're going to see on every show as we go forward, there's a lot of really talented people who bring their skills and their resources into a project like this. And Ed, if you would, we've known you as the go-to guy in the print business for a long time, but you're more than that. You're an Easton resident. You've been involved in stuff. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thanks, Brian. My name's Ed Basse, and we do have a printing company, Albert Basse Associates. I was born and raised in Easton. My father, actually, I got to go way back. My grandfather started the company back in 1928. So we are now 96 years old as a printing company in Massachusetts. My father took over for him. My father was the one who brought us to Easton because the family was in Boston at the time with all the printing companies in the city. And when my dad decided that he had to get out of the city and move to the country, he was driving down the road and ended up at a beautiful Victorian house on Pequannock. So he settled there, and the family had settled there. But I've been a lifelong resident of Easton. Went to Oliver Ames, graduated in 1987. Getting a little bit of my age there. So, but I've been part of the community. I'm excited, and when Dave called and the committee called and talked about doing this, seeing the logo that Piper put together for this event, it just was really exciting to me, and I really wanted to be part of it. I wanted our company. My brother Chip and myself run the company now with my fourth generation nephew, Albert Basse IV. We were very excited. We thought, okay, we love to be, we're lifelong residents here. We really wanted to put our mark on it and help and not just be like, oh, okay, we're selling these banners in. We wanted to be a part of it and be a part of, like you said, kind of be part of the community or the committee. So we're excited and thankful and glad to be here today and helping out. I think what we should do is really paint the town in this next year and a half or next 2 years, paint the town orange and black with these banners going up all over the place and just have everybody know that the 300th celebration is going to be a big one.
There's going to be lots of excitement in the air. And I just wanted to say to you, Ed, that I've caught a lot of bass in the past fishing, but you're the best bass I've caught so far.
Thank you, Dave.
And I just want you to know, folks, when you see planes flying over during the parade, or church bells ringing 300 times, or you see the street painted, you're going to know there's a big time celebration coming on. Absolutely. It's the 300th anniversary of the town of Easton, and there's lots of excitement. Families coming together, and I am excited about seeing that. Even dogs lining up. We may have something for dogs.
Sure.
And I wanted to ask you, Piper, I know that you're excited just seeing the banner and, of course, the logo. And you're going to be more excited when you see them all over the place. And people are going to be pointing on the parade route when you're in the convertible. There's the woman
waving
that created the logo and, of course, the banner. It takes a team effort, and I find that just on our committee, Ed. We have 10 members, 9 are voting members, and one is a member of the Board of Selectmen, Mark Lamb. And everybody participates, everybody has a responsibility, and everybody's working hard. And I got to say that as chair of the committee, it's a team effort.
It is.
It's not just one or two people working hard. Everybody has stepped up, and that's what makes it work. If you're a Celtics fan, you know what I mean by teamwork. Well, it's happening here in the town of Easton.
Sure is.
And there are people who may not be on the committee, like a guy like Ed and Brian, and even you, Piper. You guys are making it work, and I'm so very proud of all the coordinators. We picked out not only coordinators to run different events, but they all have those skills.
They do.
I'm excited about that. And what are you hearing or what are you feeling around town, Ed, as far as people knowing about some of the signature events?
I think it's gradually people are getting aware of it. I'm not sure that there's a whole amount of detailed knowledge of it, but people are talking about it. My family and I had breakfast at the Farmer's Daughter for Easter morning. People around us were chatting about, oh, the 300th is coming, and visitors, people who don't even live here in town, were having breakfast, and all of a sudden they're part of the conversation of, really, 300 years? You know, this town's been here. I think people are a little bit surprised that the town is that old because it has evolved over and over in several generations, and people think of it as a kind of a new bedroom community south of Boston, just got here type of thing. And then when they realize, wow, 300 years, they've been here for a while. So I think that as the committee does its work and as time goes forward, programs like this and other things that start telling the residents about those signature events, when they are, what's going to happen, and how they can get involved, I think we're going to see a tremendous surge of interest in them. And not every event is going to be perfect for every family, but those families will pick out what they want to go to. They want to go to the fireworks, they want to go to the bonfire, they want to go to the picnic or the parade, and so and the gala, which I think will be the capstone of the whole thing. So I think it'll take shape, and you'll find more and more information being passed among people as they get more excited about it. Well, the closer it gets, too.
I saw someone in a local restaurant, and I said, how are things going? He said, well, right now I'm celebrating, he was having dessert. He said, I'm celebrating the 299th year here in the town of Easton.
So I guess
He said, in preparation for the 300th. I'd like to, at this time, thank some of the committee members. Jeanette Camara, she's the treasurer of our committee. And of course, many people in town know her as the treasurer for the Bank of Easton. I did mention Mark Lamb. Diane Lasati is the secretary. Rosalind Miller is the assistant secretary. They're so busy, we have to have an assistant. Mike Good is handling marketing and communication. Everybody knows Dale Carister. He's the community relations guy. Courtney Pupkin is handling fundraising and sponsorships. Ken Michael, he happens to be the president of the Historical Society. He's handling the responsibility of business and, of course, historical significance. We thank Joan Lundgren, who's at Memorial Hall. She's handling concerts. She also is going to be coordinating the art festival. We call it the Art and Cultural Festival. We got a lot of artists that live in the town. And over the years, it's always been considered a small community. It may be small, but they get a big heart. And a lot of things have happened over the years in a very positive way, Ed. And even the folks that serve in elected positions in the town, they're dedicated to bringing community service to the town and doing it in such a delightful way. anything you'd like to say about the folks here in the town of Easton that are not afraid to step up to give their time and talent?
Yeah, they are not. And there's a couple of more folks. I'm sure you've got some other names you may want to mention, but the amount of work that Anne-Marie Taylor and Amanda Hurley and their gang have put into reviewing and assessing and choosing items that are going to be available during the 300th year. Everything from, cute little 300th anniversary tigers, because this is Tiger Town, to glassware and all sorts of things that they're working on and planning to get to have available to citizens to commemorate the year. One of the things that I know has already been voted on, and our company, Red Ball Promotions, has been involved in assisting them with getting all these choices together and giving them prices and estimates and all the rest of that stuff. One of the things that has already been decided on, I think we can talk about it now, is there's going to be a specially created miniature pewter shovel, a replica of the original Ames shovel with the 300th inscription on it. And I think it's going to be a limited run. When they're gone, and they won't be even available until the beginning of 2025. But they'll go on sale, and I think they're going to be striking. I think that's something that folks are going to want to have one of. But Anne-Marie and Amanda and Karen have just done incredible work, back and forth. And this is, I don't know where they have time to do this and live their own lives. They've been so busy with this stuff. So
Well, I've had
I take my
meetings-
hat off to them. They are terrific.
Yeah, I've had meetings with them, and in some cases, Amanda's had to bring her child with her to attend the meetings. And he takes a very active part in the meeting.
No.
I wanted to say.
I wonder if he chose the tiger.
But while you're thanking people, I'd like to also thank Jamie and, of course, her husband, Dan Anderson. They have stepped up to run a major block party. It's going to be on the main street here in the town of Easton. It's scheduled for September 6th, and that will be in 2025. All kinds of family activities. And of course, we're going to open up the entire celebration on January 4th. And that's going to be at Stonehill College. Stonehill College has agreed to not only open up the celebration, but they're going to close it with the gala on December 27, 2025. But we call it the kickoff event, which is co-chaired by Amanda and Anne-Marie. You mentioned their names. And there's going to be a wide variety of activities, indoor and outdoors. This celebration is going to take place, rain or shine, could be snow, but the show will go on. And we want to bring people together. And of course, I wanted to thank both the fire chief and the police chief. They're very much involved in the security part of this entire celebration. Safety is going to be a priority, especially during these trying times. We're going to make sure that we have enough coverage. Not only will it be a fun event, all of them, but they'll be safe as well. We have what we think will be the largest parade the town's ever had. It's going to start at the monument at the tip of Center Street. It's going to go the length of Center Street. There's going to be a review stand in front of the old DPW. I say old, but the plans are to change the site and location.
Right.
And we're going to have the review stand there anyways. And that noise that you hear in the sky may be a plane flying over to salute the town of Easton on a major celebration as we celebrate the 300th anniversary. The parade will take a right on Main Street and it'll end near the church area. And as the parade marches by, there will be 45 banners every other pole on Center Street and 25 banners on the main street all the way to the end of that street. So that's going to be terrific. We're looking for people to join Corey O'Honan, who actually is the guy who's run parades in the town before. He knows what goes first, what goes last, and who's going to be in the parade. So we're looking forward to veterans. We're looking forward to floats, bands, drum and bugle corps, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, you name it, they're all going to be in it. You'll see some convertibles in there. You're going to be in one of those convertibles. And who knows, one of the three of us may be driving that. The fact is, I hope to join the folks on the review stand and announce the floats and the participants in the parade. We thank certainly Southeast Regional Vocational High School. They're making the cake for the gala.
Oh, great.
It's going to feed 400, 500 people. That's the kind of crowd we expect. It's a black tie event. There's going to be music for dancing. There's going to be refreshments. There's going to be a social, a cocktail hour, a special guest. So we're excited about that. We also have on June 14th, that's Flag Day, we're going to have a family picnic. We call it a Town of Easton picnic. It's going to be at the Governor Ames Estate. We're going to have a band concert from 7 to 9 p.m. The fireworks at the same site are going to go off at 9 p.m. We thank Alex Pyres for sponsoring the fireworks. We thank all the sponsors that have jumped in to participate in this celebration. There's going to be a bonfire. There's going to be an art and cultural festival. Things are going to happen, folks, and there's going to be lots of facilities available. We're going to have an antique car show. We hope 300 cars arrive.
Get some nice
It's going to be at Borderland State Park. Langwater Farms is going to put on a family fun day. Wow. If the family members, the adults get tired, they can sit down because the kids are going to have a terrific fun day with ice cream and hot dogs and all that stuff. We're not going to forget anything. And if you got some ideas out there, folks, make sure that you let myself know. Certainly let the committee know. And Brian Hoffman, if you see him floating around town.
That's right.
Let us know what your ideas are.
But you know, you mentioned Langwater, and I'm glad you did. If you haven't been there recently, once the new building went up, they've paid an awful lot of attention to creating a family landscape around the building. So they've been hosting family events there. They had an incredible bonfire where the fire department and the fire chief supervised the burning of Christmas trees. So all the residents in town were encouraged to drop off their Christmas trees. And they had a bonfire that had to be 30, 35 feet high, you know, went off without a hitch. And, you know, families were there, little kids all bundled up, just oohing, ahhing over this tremendous bonfire. And they had, you know, Shoveltown Brewery, our local outstanding beer provider, bring the beer, and they also had, you know, brick oven fired pizza available. Big, huge family celebration. I mean, and if you look at what the property looks like now, it's nothing what it looked like 4 or 5 years ago. And as I say, it's all being landscaped as a real family-friendly place where you can hang out, you know, get great vegetables and produce, but also bring your family, have a great time. So I'm glad that they're going to do that. That's going to be, I think, a signature event, as they all are.
I'm excited about it, folks, and I want the folks out there that are watching this TV production that we're going to be thanking all of the sponsors at our next show. We don't want to forget anyone, but as the sponsors commit, we want to make sure that they get the appropriate recognition, like the Bank of Easton, like the Northeast Savings Bank. They've already stepped up. And we got some longtime residents who seem to participate in sponsoring all kinds of things in the town. They have also committed, and we appreciate it very much. I wanted to ask you, if you would, Piper, how do you feel about this celebration? Do you feel as excited as I am?
Yeah, I am really excited about it. I think initially, when I just heard about the logo, I was just like, oh, well, I'll enter the logo contest. That will be great. But then when I kind of, as I got involved, I'm kind of like Ed, I just sort of like got excited about the celebration and wanted to be a part of it, to do anything I could to help out, with it. And I think it's really wonderful that the town is planning so many events and having them throughout the entire year, because it's nice that there'll be things for families to do throughout the entire year. And I think that, we've kind of had a couple of years where, especially during COVID, where nobody could get together. And then it's been sort of like a slow progress to like, okay, let's all kind of start planning these events again. And I think having next year be such a huge year for Easton, and just having so many events happen throughout the year is really just gonna bring the town together. And I think that's exciting for me too. Not just the events, but just the feeling that it's going to bring to the town, to really bring the town together too, which I think is needed.
Well said.
Yeah.
I wanted to say to the Easton community that may be watching, how lucky we are as a community to have what we have, to live in a town like the town of Easton, Massachusetts, where just about everything we need is somewhat in reach. There are other folks around the world don't have the same things that we have. But I want to see in 2025 that the community comes together to celebrate how lucky we are, to come together with your neighbors and your friends. And I think it'll be kind of a very special time. And Ed, I'm sure that you feel the same way just by the conversations that we've had. This is a special community. I see lots of young people who have grown up here in the town. They've graduated from schools here. They were one of the Tigers, and they come back to either relive with their own families, but they come back and they realize how important and the impact of the Easton community over the years.
A lot of my friends who went to high school here, who always said, I'm not going to stay in town, realized really quickly when you get out there and you start a family and you become a professional, or you want to be involved with the community, that coming back home is a great place in Easton. A lot of people have done that.
Yeah. And one of the people that I met in the early stages of this planning was Brian Hoffman. And I just want you to know, Brian, that it was my first stop when I met you in the early stages of planning. And you're exactly what people said. They said, make sure that you touch base with Brian Hoffman. He not only knows the community, but he's got a great sense of community. He cares about people. He shares a lot of advice in a very positive way. What a compliment that is for a guy like you, Ed.
Thank you very much. I'm humbled by that, and I'm glad that people care. That's the thing that gets me involved with all of this, is people caring about other people, people getting involved. Because whoop.
The
We'll cut
logo
that out.
might have
We'll take
dropped,
that out
but
of
the
the
show
tape.
continues.
But it's kind of you to say, but I do it because people have done it before me. People that have gone on before us have made this town what it is. And so if we live here and we have the ability to do something, to give something, to get involved in something, that's something that has always resonated with me. It's always important to me. So thank you. Kind words, I appreciate it. But I think there's lots of folks like that in this town, and it makes it easy, truly easy, to get involved and do things.
I didn't mean to embarrass you by picking you out But Ed, I wanted to say this. Why not say it in front of a group of people?
Well, it's very
to
nice
let them know how I feel about what you have done over the years.
And Dave, like you had told me when we first started this too, bringing families and community together.
Yeah.
You've got it right in your
That's our theme.
Yep.
It's perfect. You know, people like Brian, people
And
like Piper, people like yourself.
And what you're holding, Lily, was produced by the Southeast Regional
Southeast
Vocational
Regional
Technical High School. And
printed that, and we very much appreciate that. And of course, the school department, the two superintendents, the one in Easton as well as the one at Southeast Regional, they've been very cooperative. And Brian, you and I have talked about this before, that all the department heads in the town of Easton. And of course, they work under the Board of the Select Board, I should say, as well as the town administrator. They certainly are very cooperative, and what a terrific job the Select Board has done in picking department heads. They got a sense of community, and they're there to help. That's their motto.
Yeah, I sometimes think, and especially when I'm talking to business associates or friends who live elsewhere, I sometimes think we don't realize how good we have it. I mean, I don't want to say nothing's perfect, but we're blessed to have a town government, town officials, departments. They work together. They care about what they do. I have friends who work for DPW and the tree department, you know. That's some of the nicest people you could ever meet.
Speaking of DPW, Brian, they're all going to have their hands full.
Yeah,
putting these banners up. All
I'm
over
sure they
town
are.
too, right?
Yeah, yeah. But I can see the things popping up around town just as easily as the flags do around Memorial Day and the 4th of July. Just the same way that stuff goes up. And it's not just the officials. It's not just the town agencies. It's residents and businesses. The Christmas lighting that happens in the village every year doesn't happen by accident. And it doesn't happen in every community. Matter of fact, it doesn't happen in very many communities. And we just take it for granted. We shouldn't. We should say, that really means something to me. That people come from all over the eastern part of the state to drive through the middle of town at nighttime during the holidays just to see the lighting. I can't tell you how many people have said they're waiting to see George Bailey running down the middle of the street. You know, it looks like something out of It's a Wonderful Life. And it is a wonderful town. And I think, you know, this kind of celebration and all of the events that are going to happen during that time are going to remind us over and over again that it is a wonderful life and it's a wonderful town.
And certainly we wanted to give a shout out and thank you to Lee Williams, the late Lee Williams. He made the first contribution to the celebration. He had the wisdom a number of years ago to put money aside that could be used for the 300th anniversary. And of course, he participated along with the Historical Society in putting this clock up on Main Street. So we are forever grateful to Lee Williams, and we wanted to certainly recognize him. I wanted to thank Dave Fields, the director of DPW. He and his crew, I guess, had to take a second listen when I said 90 banners. It's not one or two, so it's a big job to put them up and then to take them down. How important it is for us to get the right information on the banners so we don't have to go back a second time. But Chief Alexander from the fire department, the chief is willing to co-chair the fireworks and bonfire events. We thank Chief Boone, the police department, who is jumping in to help us with security for all these major events. So it's off and running. We're excited about it. And there's, I'm looking for some final comments. I'll start with you. Edwin, is there anything you'd like to say? I know people call you Ed, they call you Edwin.
Either one.
The fact is that we appreciate you being on the show today. Any advice you'd like to
Ooh,
pass over?
advice. I'm just excited about the celebration, and I was thinking about this whole time. It's a big, great committee to put on a great event. From what I've heard, the people on the committee, the town is just excited about it, and as we move forward, I'm excited to see that the excitement level even go up from there. Advice. You'll have to get me another time for that.
Well, that's
no one ever
another
asked
show.
me for advice.
Yeah,
That'll be another show.
Yeah, there we go.
The Ed Basse Advice Hour.
Advice, yeah,
that's coming up soon.
Exactly.
Piper,
That's a one-on-one.
We just have to find a sponsor.
That's a one-on-one.
Congratulations on not only designing the logo, but coming up with the design for the banner. And of course, it'll be in 90 different locations. Any final comments you'd like to make? We thank you so much for joining us on the air today. You and Ed have been terrific guests. Anything you'd like to say in closing?
It's been an honor working with the committee, working with you and everyone. And I'm really excited about the celebration as well and all the events. So I'm not planning any vacations for 2025. We've got enough going on in the town, right? We don't need to go anywhere. So yeah, I'm just really excited. And I think just kind of being behind the scenes and seeing the committee do everything that they do, it's just a reminder that these things don't happen by themselves. It does take people to do them. And, you know, going back to what you were saying, you know, sometimes we do take for granted, you know, the things that we have. And it's nice that you're acknowledging everybody's hard work for everything that's been done, because it does take that. And it's really great to have all of these things planned and have so many people come together and excited about it.
It's so important. I know that there are folks out there that are wondering if they should step up and participate. You still got some time to do that.
Do it.
This is a community event. As someone said to me, I'm not going to be around. I go on vacation that time every year. And I say to them, enjoy your vacation. If you can work around it, fine. There'll be plenty of events going on. Certainly do your family stuff, because that's important to us. Family is a top priority. And of course, Brian, this has been a terrific show.
Yeah, it has.
Not only talking about what's happening, what our plans are, but our two guests I thought were terrific.
I agree. It's great to have the rest of the town appreciate folks like Piper and Ed. Again, these are things that kind of go on behind the scenes. Nobody knows about it. And so it's great that we have a chance through ECAT and through shows like this to tell folks about those kinds of contributions. And I think while we're at it, one of the important things to say, you've been doing a great job of thanking everybody else. I think this effort, all of it, up to this point and continuing for the next year and 8 months, would not happen without the work that you've done. Spending 40 years working for the Parks and Recreation Department in Sharon gave you an awful lot of reusable skills, and we're getting to reuse them in the town of Easton, and I am sure we couldn't be doing this without you. So it's a pleasure to work with you.
Thank you very much, Brian. I guess that's going to wrap it up for our show today called Easton 300. We're on once a month. It's usually the first Tuesday of the month. And again, we thank ECAT, Easton Community Access Television. Adam Carrero, we appreciate your efforts to push the right buttons to make this work. And of course, we invite the folks that live here in the town of Easton. There's still time to volunteer. There's still time to donate. We want to make this a very special event. I should say a series of events that'll take place in the year 2025.
And there's plenty of good, fun things for people to get involved in going forward. So the work's not done. If you've got a little energy and feel like you want to put something in behalf of the town, jump aboard.
And if you're going to do something good to help someone out, it doesn't have to be in 2025. Do it as soon as you can, and do it with the dignity that it deserves. I say go forth to serve, do it with a smile on your face. And folks, put aside the calendar for 2025. Thank you for joining us here on Easton 300.